Again. So, as you've seen by the title, Chris Eubank Senior, has broken his silence on his son's devastating KO loss. Now, before I drop you the leaked reaction from Eubank Senior, let's preview his words to his son before the fight, because as far as I'm aware, they haven't been in contact in that sense. This was his contact to his son. Good luck, son. As I've always taught you, the harder you train, the luckier you become. You started your training camp 19 years ago, so to Liam Beefy Smith and your team, you've been warned. Oh my God, stop it. Now, this was the reaction after his son's Pat got smoked on. He said, "Congratulations, Beefy Smith. I've never once seen Chris Jr. even buckle in a fight. So big respect to you, your team, and your future." Dread. Now, we've been hearing for the last little while at least that Eubank Senior has been struggling. This ain't going to help, is it? And I mean, even before the Conor Ben fight, who was a small 147-pound dude, I think Ben's even fought at 140. Him coming up to fight Junior at 157 had Senior bugging all the way out. Now, essentially, Senior's worst nightmare. After all, why do you think... Let's do the mental maths here. Why was Senior bugging out about Eubank fighting Conor Ben? What's the worst thing that can happen in a fight? Obviously, not talking about Watson, but outside of real damage, the worst thing that can happen in a fight is getting knocked out, sparkled. So Eubank Senior was bugging out over Conor Ben, and really, he missed the mark. He missed the target here, and it ended up being Beefy B level, who came through and popped his son's chair. I mean, look at this here. You've been warned. Stop it. And really, it all builds in to how this whole thing happened, in my opinion. This whole thing happened because of this kind of attitude. You've been warned. And that's why I know I don't always see eye to eye with Floyd Mayweather, but Mayweather, notice one thing about him. Now, we know Mayweather isn't a come-forward pressure fighter, but as far as I'm concerned, in that Eubank fight, or in Eubank's last few fights under Roy Jones, he's been not looking like Mayweather, but he's been trying to fight like Mayweather, i.e. just pure back foot. He doesn't have the intricacies or the IQ of Mayweather, but essentially back foot and outpoint and win the fight. But why I've gained a lot of respect in watching, or now on hindsight after seeing Eubank, and why I've gained respect for Floyd, is the fact that he treat everyone like they're Triple G. Yeah, you don't see Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, when Floyd's comfortable, if after 10 rounds Floyd finds himself dominating in control, he might pull some slick stuff. But you never saw Floyd, whether it was... I mean, Floyd, in my opinion, I've been saying this, Floyd has fought many bums. People like Guerrero and Berto, no good. D-level dudes. But again, Beefy was a B-level dude, do you understand? And with all due respect, Eubank was never on Floyd's level, and that's what I'm saying. Even though Floyd was an A-star level, he still never overlooked anyone. You never saw Floyd get greedy and start just opening up just because he could. Now, it works. It's a double-ended sword. It works both ways. Floyd's boring. Yeah, Floyd never got dropped. Floyd never got chinned. Yeah? So what do you want? And it's not like, fair enough, it's one thing, yeah, if you get caught storming Norman, if you get caught coming forward and wading war, that's one thing, but Eubank got knocked spark out trying to be an outboxer. There's nothing more peak than that. That is the peak of peakness, the pinnacle of peakness. Being knocked out trying to be a defensive fighter. Where are they doing that one at? Oh, Eubank's pulled off, I mean, it's quite rare really when you think about it, to be knocked out. Even Billy Joe, when he went in there with Canelo. Billy Joe didn't get knocked out. He got his eye popped and quit, but he didn't get knocked out. It's quite rare really for a pure defensive fighter to be knocked out, spark out, because they're defensive. So Eubank's made his own little niche here. One of the first dudes in the history of the game to be knocked spark out whilst backpedaling. And that's because he hasn't taken the time to learn the game. I mean, I went through it the other day. The bare basics. Eubank looking at the floor, Eubank, chin in the air. These are the best. They teach you this. I mean, I'm not a boxer. And I do wonder what these trainers are doing. Because people say, oh, that's what I'm tired of hearing about. Oh, Eubank's only been doing it for 10 years, or AJ's only been doing it for 15 years. It's like, 15 years? It doesn't take you 15 years to learn not to look at the floor. These are first week principles. I kid you not. If I'm training a fighter, in the first week we're going to address, listen, if nothing else, look at what's coming. That's probably one of the key, in terms of top 10 principles, look at what's coming. That's got to be in the top 10. Because if you ain't looking at what's coming, then what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here if you're not looking at what's coming? And guess what? When you're looking at the sky or you're looking at the floor, you ain't got a clue what's going on. Bare bone basics. So I blame Eubank. But really, I wonder about his training team. I do wonder about the people around him. And I wonder about the people around him's integrity. I wonder about their training level. And I wonder about their integrity. Why? I'm telling you now, I'm broke as a joke. I'm desperate for coins, especially after the weekend. Broke as a joke. Super duper broke. However, I don't care how broke I am, if I'm training someone and they're not picking up what I'm saying and they're not getting it and they're not implementing it, I'm out of there. I'm not having someone. Now, it's one thing if you're struggling to learn, but don't tell me after 15 years Eubank hasn't learned not to look at the floor when under pressure. Do you know what I'm saying? I just don't believe that. I don't believe someone has been drumming into Eubank defensive strategies for 15 years and he's just ignored them all. I just don't believe it. And if that's the case, what are you doing in the camp? Because if I've got a fighter, never mind 15 years. If I'm training a fighter for 2 years or a year and he ain't getting it, so listen, man, we've got to part ways. You ain't getting it. I don't want you ruining my brand, but these guys just hang around the place and it is what it is. And I guess you can say, well, YB, we knew this before the fight. And that's the thing. Ultimately, whoever lost money, it's our own fault. We assumed this guy's chin wouldn't forsake him. If all out, and I even said before the fight, listen, I think Eubank will box a guy's ears off. And from what I saw, he was boxing his ears off until he wasn't. But I even said, even if it gets into Liam Smith's kind of fight, I backed Eubank to beat Liam Smith at his own fight. Don't get me wrong, it would have been a closer fight. It would have been a 60-40 fight rather than an 80-20 fight. I had Eubank doing a Liam Williams performance at 80-20, 90-10. I couldn't see Smith's too stiff in that sense. He'd just get jabbed and picked apart all night. And Smith himself said, I couldn't do nothing with a jab. I was struggling. His arms are too long. So it was going exactly as I planned. But I even thought, if it comes to it, and Eubank, I mean, let's not forget, Eubank came up being a brawler. Look how Eubank moshed Billy Joe. And I'm not saying Smith's a much more dangerous fighter in the pocket. He's much more proficient. Billy Joe don't fight in the pocket. So Smith is more dangerous, but still, Eubank very much less experienced. He mauled Billy Joe in the pocket, up close. So I'm thinking 10 years later, Eubank, if it comes to it and he has to put it on him, his cardio and his inside fighting ability, and most importantly his chin. Before the fight, I'd have told you, chin for chin. That's another reason I backed Eubank, because chin for chin, I'd have put Eubank up there. I'd have said Eubank, innit? Let's be real now. Chin for chin, who would you have put up? For me, it was Eubank, and that's where we went wrong. We didn't know it was Chris Khan Jr. But anyway, this must be very solemn. This must be a very solemn moment for Eubank Senior. I hope he's okay. He did warn his son. He was retired at 29. Eubank retired after his first stoppage. And to be quite frank, I don't think that's a bad idea for Eubank Jr. But Eubank Jr., Senior's already exposed. Eubank Jr. loves money. He loved the money. He loved the coin. And there are big money fights out there for him. I think potentially a Billy Joe fight. That makes sense. The battle of the finished guys. Yeah? Who's the most finished? That's what the event would be called. The most finished. But outside of that, The Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn at 160. That's the thing though. If Liam Smith can stop you at 160, I think Eubank will have to drag Conor Benn to 168. That's what he'll have to do to have a chance in that fight. I just don't see it. If you can't take a shot from Liam Smith, I think you're toast. And that's what he has to salvage now. He's made enough money. It's about your legacy now. Look at Naz. Naz realised he's built a great legacy. Is it really worth it? Getting washed by some of these real dons? No, I'll go out. And that's why people remember Naz a lot differently than it could have been. Naz could have really turned out being a pretty average fighter, innit, if he had a few more of them Mexican fights before we knew it. Naz went out on top in that sense, and his legend remains. Now, Eubank don't have no legend, but still, Eubank has a little piece of something left. I mean, God forbid Billy Joe knocks him out. Do you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine that? And for me, all bets are off now. All bets are off. Because I'd have told you Liam Smith had no chance. 0 chance of Liam Smith knocking out Eubank. And that wasn't my statement. 99% of people believed that. The odds were like 50-1 for Liam Smith to get a KO in the first 4 rounds. 60-1 or something. No one believed it. And it happened. So who's to say Billy Joe don't go in there and pop you in your mouth and you end up wherever else? And that's what but then again, Eubank don't care what people think about him. That's possibly one of the things. Eubank don't care what people think about him. He cares about money. And that's why after the fight he was congratulating Liam Smith. I found that weird. And I got a video coming soon, but I do have to apologise to Wilder. I respect Wilder a lot more now. I really do. A few things about Wilder I've had to... and that's the thing about me. I don't have no ego. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I was wrong on Wilder. Wilder, yeah, he was right to not be happy about getting knocked out. That's how you should feel. And I've never been to their level, but that's how I used to feel. If I lost it, I told you before, if I lost a sporting event, I wished the guy in front of me were dead. in the moment. I know it's not rational, but that's how I felt. I wasn't in boxing, but I wanted to strangle the guy. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't stand it. And that's just another sport. Imagine being knocked out on TV. I can't imagine being knocked out on TV and then coming up to the guy. And I understand, yeah, all the armchair people say, oh, it's great sportsmanship. Yeah, but most of you man ain't never been in real sport like that. And I'm not saying I've got to the top level, but I'm just saying, from my point of view at least, when you're in sport, you've trained so hard, you've put all that effort in, and you haven't put all that effort in to get knocked out. So it's the same, it's a bit like, and people can say, why people, you critiqued AJ. No, I critiqued AJ's way of doing things. Yeah? Whenever I wanted to throttle someone after I've lost, that was because I left it all in there. I gave it all I had and it wasn't enough. Yeah? My inadequacy made me angry in that sense. Now, I've told you before. There's been times I've been in an event and I've jacked. I haven't left it all out there. Now, after I've jacked in an event, I'm not angry after that. I know, that's on me. Do you understand? That's the key difference here. AJ, the reason AJ doesn't have a leg to stand on, because he didn't leave it all out there. Whereas Wilder makes sense. He went into that event, put all of his effort in, left it all out there, and it still wasn't enough. That burns. That burns deep inside you. Yeah? So that's why I salute. I appreciate what Wilder was doing. Especially in boxing. Who wants to be happy that next Don just knocks you out in front of your wife and kids? Nah, man, that don't work. So yeah, salute to Wilder. He was right, I was wrong. But Eubank coming out here, oh, thanks Liam for knocking me out. And Eubank was like, oh, that's the sport and that's the sport we love. I didn't get the feeling that, and that's the problem with these guys, you see. It's the rematch clause. That should have been a key flag. You don't have I'm pretty sure Eubank didn't have a rematch clause for Spike O'Sullivan or whoever else he was fighting. That's a key flag. And the other thing is, Eubank, all he cared about is money. We've been known that. Because Andrade was a world champion and he was calling out Eubank. Eubank weren't interested in that, no money. So it tells you all he cares about is the money. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Eubank jumped on the floor to make something out of nothing, innit? What's the biggest fight for Eubank that has little risk in that sense? Well, we all know rematches are big when someone loses, kind of thing, Ooh, shock loss. Now Eubank's made a big rematch out of nothing. Rather than fighting Golovkin, which would be a genuine big fight, he's now managed to make a big hash of things. It's like same as David Haye. David Haye had nowhere really to go, so he lost to Tony Bellend a few times. He made something out of nothing, didn't he? That was supposed to be a gimme fight, a nothing fight. And all of a sudden it turned into a big blockbuster because he got smoked. And that's what a lot of these light-skinned Donnies be doing. They ain't really, you know what I mean? They ain't really about it like that. I must say now, we've got Anthony Yardy coming up. My doggy Yardy, he must come through at the weekend. But no, he's got, to be fair, Yardy, he got a real task. So as long as he leaves it all out there, I got a little piece of coins on him to win, but I'm not expecting him to win. I'm not going to be mad if he don't win, but as long as he leaves it all out there, if Anthony Yardy leaves it all out there, he's got as good a chance as anyone. Go in there, elbows in, chin down, and put your shots together. If I was training Yard, forget 12 rounds, I'd go in there for a 6-round squabble. Yard's cute, he can get in there and just mix it up and squabble with this guy. And hope that your shots get off and his don't, kind of thing. If you go in there and you try and long it out, remember the Arthur fight? Arthur, when he fought Lyndon Arthur, Queen Arthur. He would try to play tic-tac-toe and it didn't work out. No tic-tac-toe. Anyway, back to this guy here. So yeah, Eubank Senior. In fact, let me check this is working first. Yeah, it's working nice. Let me read a few more comments actually before I get back to this still. Wow, my doggy Simon Brandy come through again. Some more coins. Big love, my bro. Appreciate enough appreciation right now. Some more coins for the YB. New channel idea. Check out Nuke's top 5. YB commentating on supposedly real ghost videos. Stop it. Could be a hilarious. Big coins, YB. Check how many subs these channels have. Yeah, there's a lot of channels with a lot of subs, but I've got the way I do things. I've got to feel passionate in it. I've got to feel that burn inside me. But it just, I don't know. This channel I'm lucky with, but there's other channels that just seem to pop. I don't know what you have to do. I think a lot of it's luck. Anyway. And I've also got to say a big shout out to my doggy, who I missed in the last one, Lord Mac, for coming through. Long time supporter of the YB out here. Yes, family, been time still. One love to my bro on the last stream still. Anyway, let's get back to this Eubank thing before I finish up. So yeah, on this Eubank thing, on the Senior thing, sorry, from Senior's point of view, don't forget, he told Junior, you're 33 years old now. Hinting, I was retired at 29 after my first stoppage. He said this before the Conor Benn fight. Now, if you're saying to your son, listen son, you're getting a bit long in the tooth, and now a B-level dude has just sparked you essentially in 1 or 2 shots. This wasn't a beatdown, people. It went from 0 to hero real quick. That's the key telltale sign of someone being finished in the game. That's just God's honest truth. When someone who's known as a cast iron dude, you know what I mean, turns into Bambi. Never mind Eubank, it's Eubambi. Yeah? Chris Eubambi Jr. That's his 100%. Chris Eubambi Jr. There's nothing bank about him. Yeah? What do we know about banks? Banks are solid. Yeah? A bank is an institution that upholds the economy. You ain't no bank. Yeah? Your name is Chris Eubambi Jr. No doubt about that. There's 100%. Listen, what do we know about people bank on things? Ain't no one banking on Mr. Bambi anymore. Yeah? You best believe it. Your man the YB banked on you having a little piece of chin left. No chin left about bank. I don't want to hear no more about bank from these mans. Yeah? And from now on, it's Chris Eubambi Jr. Because, again, there's nothing bankable about you. Yeah? If you put your coins on Mr. Eubank, you're going to lose 100%. They're going flying off. So, yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is, now Mr. Eubambi Jr. is in a similar situation to his pops, but worse. His pops didn't get KO'd with 1 shot from a B-level dude. His pops had his eye bust and got retired for the first time. And when Senior was worrying, and that's the thing, Senior hasn't been in Eubank's camp. Eubank tried to fly his own wings. How's it been working out? It was working out all right until it wasn't. And sometimes a dad knows best, and he says here he's never seen his son buckle once. Why is that then? What's happened? And people keep mentioning the weight. Now, people say, well, but YB, he went down in weight to 157. He didn't actually do that. In October, he went down to 160. He didn't boil down to the 157 thing. He made weight at 160. Now, was it a smart idea? No. Again, his bravado, his ego. But that was 4 months ago now. I don't think that's what's made the difference here. How can I provide more evidence? Well, we know for a fact. Fighters, yeah, they can fight every 4 months, innit? Canelo's done it. Canelo's fought every 4 months. Point. Well, that shows you can cut weight and come back up in 4 months. Listen, he cut weight in October and he didn't even fight. So it's not like YB, he cut down to weight to 160 and then had a hard fight and his weight drain. No, he cut weight but didn't fight. So that's like he took no damage. And he had the whole of October to recover, the whole of November, the whole of December, and more or less the whole of January. 4 months he's had. If anything, I saw that as a positive, in as much as he had 2 rolling camps without taking any damage from a fight. I was seeing it as a positive. He's going to be sharp. Back-to-back camps without taking fight damage. So really, there's no excuse. And also, I keep saying this, yeah, people keep mentioning the weight. Eubank wanted 160. He didn't want 164. How do we know this? Eubank's been at Eubank fought Groves at 168, and he came down because he said he didn't feel he had as much power there, as much effect. He chose to. He wants to come down. He wants to stay at 160. And I think, what's the guy's name? I think maybe even Roy Jones said something similar. It's not the weight. Now, other people have said, YB, he's been at 160 for 15 years. Who do you know does that? Listen. I mean, has Chris Eubank got old overnight? That's how it looks, to be quite frank. But either way, man, if he needs to, I tweeted him. If he wants to salvage any of his reputation, any of his family name, he's made enough money now, retire now. Because I can see a situation, Hay versus Bellend, that's how it's going to go. Smith, yeah, is going to think you're sweeter than ever. Any respect, any kind of nervousness he had for you before is gone. He's going to set about you. And you don't have the chops. You don't have it. Yeah? You don't have the chops you think you have. And Liam Smith, his wick is going to be engorged. And he's going to be coming for you. Ready to pop you. 100%. Zesty style. He's going to come wading forward looking like Mike Tyson. And you're going to be in there with your defense leaky again because you ain't got no real trainers in. That's the thing. That's the problem, people. Clearly, Eubank, 15 years later, Eubank hasn't learned the basics of defence. So what's the chances in 4 months from now, or 6 months? Let's do the maths here. What are the chances after 15 years of having all these top trainers around him, he hasn't learned the basics of defence? Keep your eye on the target. He hasn't learned that in 15 years. So for my money, he ain't going to learn it for the next 6 months. So he's going to go in there, yeah, with no chin backing him up. Before, clearly, he had some chops that underpinned his poor skills. Yeah, chops can back up, or strong chops can make up for lacking skills. Yeah, if your chops is solid, you can have leaky skills, have leaky defense, and the shots bounce off. A bit like Joe Joyce. Now, I've actually messaged Joe Joyce. I said, I put out a heartfelt message to Joe, and he's actually replied, but I put a heartfelt message out to Joe, and I begged him. I said, please, study Canelo versus Kovalev, study Canelo versus Callum Smith. My man's in there with 2 big dudes, and he don't take no damage, more or less. If Joe Joyce needs to be dialed in, fighting like Canelo, a big version of Canelo, elbows in, chin down, popping the jab forward and working from that base. I don't want to see it. Honestly, it's bad enough for Eubank. I don't want to see my doggy Joe, the last light-skinned Donny. Who else we got? Yeah, we got Yardy and we got Joe. But Joe's the main one. I don't want to see Joe, man, on his back. I just don't want to see that. Honestly, that would break my heart. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my doggy Joe on his back because of leaky defense. Listen, it's one thing, yeah. If someone's better than you and your defense is tight and you get pieced up and you get broken down, I can take that. I can't take silly shots, eating them, and then one time your chin enters. You know what I mean? Nah, man. And it's not. And the thing is about Joe. Joe ain't 29. He's 39 now. So, and that's what worries me. So, I mean, Eubank's 33. Look at him, chinless. He went from cast iron chin like his dad to Chris Khan Jr. Yeah? To Chris Eubambi Jr. No good. I just don't want to see, not Joe. I'd rather Joe Joyce retire. I would. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Joe Joyce take a big shot. And no, not for me. Retire 100% before that happens. But anyway, what was I saying? End of the day, man, Eubank, you ain't going to get no defence unless you bring the YB fix your defence 100%. What we do know is the YB fix your defence. Have you looking at what you're meant to be looking at, not looking at the floor. Because guess what? Smith weren't... Listen, Eubank. The floor wasn't what was dangerous. Yeah? I don't know if anyone told you. It was Liam Smith in front of you who was dangerous. What are you looking at? Man, I'm looking at the floor. What the fuck? Looking at the floor for? Yeah? But if he ain't learnt that in 15 years, whoever... The goofies he's got around him ain't going to teach him it in the time he's got. Which means you're going to get popped. And no one trying to see Billy Joe have a go on you. That's the last thing people want. No one wants to see Billy Joe hop in there and have a go on you and knock you out as well. Your chin's gone. Finished. Done. It wasn't a lucky shot. You understand that, people? This was not a lucky shot in that sense. Because lucky shots, if your chin's solid, yeah, there's a reason. Canelo, so far Joe Joyce, so far Golovkin, there's a reason you don't see them splattered on the floor. Yeah? Because their chin is cast iron. Do you get that? Yeah? A cast iron chin is a cast iron chin. Why has no one caught Joe Joyce with a lucky shot? Why has no one caught Canelo with a lucky shot? Because their chins are cast iron. Yours is cast Bambi. Yeah? Yours is Eubambi. 100%. Chris Eubambi Jr. So, unless you want to become a laughing stock, where everyone is have a go on you for money, which you might, isn't, it wouldn't surprise me. These new age lighty dons don't have no shame. They will get... they'll let any man have a go on them for some coins. No shame having asses. Yeah? But you've made enough money now. And really, you've made a joke of the sport, truth be known. You haven't done much for the money you've made. You should be grateful. Put it in a safe investment account. Put it in some government bonds. And just sit back and relax. Take your little 4-5% a year. What's that? Let's say you've got 5 mil. Let's call it 10 mil. 10 mil for argument's sake. 10 mil, 5% a year, 4% a year. In fact, you can probably get some corporate bonds, 6, 7, 8%. Let's call it 7%. 7% a year, 5 mil, you're laughing all the way to the bank, 350 grand a year. If you can't live on 350 grand a year, don't know what to tell you. Yeah? But no doubt you want to be a playboy, Las Vegas playboy and gambling all the time. So you do what you want, but I'll tell you this for free. You're never going to, not that he cares, but I'll never put a lick of coin on this guy again. Never again. Never again. Not in a million years. And I hope his dad already begged him. So I'm not sure he'd listen anyway. But his dad needs to sit him down and say, listen, Junior, it was all fun and games until it wasn't. Yeah? There's nothing funny about this one. There's nothing funny about B-level beefy sending you to Cloud 9. Yeah? If you had anything left, we wouldn't be sitting here now. Now, you might have lost. We've all seen Eubank Jr. lose before. We've never seen him B-level beefied. Yeah? We've never seen him Chris Eubambi Jr. That's not... Again, there's no... For example, AJ, yeah? The reason you didn't hear me call for AJ to retire after the Ruiz loss the first time was, with all due respect to AJ didn't really get finished, did he? In that Ruiz fight. He wasn't unconscious. He could have carried on. He wasn't completely neurologically compromised, was he? Watching that first Ruiz fight, AJ got up every time. And then the ref... I ain't gonna lie to you. Did AJ half quit? Put it this way. AJ didn't quit, but he wasn't begging to carry on. So call that what you want. Yeah? AJ went in there with Ruiz, got put down 4 times. On the 4th time, he was kind of, he wasn't, you know what I mean? He wasn't bothered either way. If the ref had said carry on, he'd have carried on. If not, he wasn't fussed. So call that what you want. Some people call it quitting. Some people say, I don't care what you call it. My point is, that wasn't a retirable fight. Why? AJ was taking multiple shots over multiple rounds and getting back up. His chin was still there, and his heavyweight, and his fighting Andy Ruiz, who is crazy speed and crazy hooks. None of which Liam Smith is. Liam Smith's a good hooker. He's not an Andy Ruiz level hooker in terms of speed and combination punching. Now, if Eubank had been in there with Smith, getting knocked down, composing himself, getting up, getting knocked down, but was in the fight, that's completely different. That means he's still got a chin, he just got beat up. We didn't see that. Yeah? We saw you hit once and you was cooked for a minute straight, and you was still cooked after the time. You were still falling around, not knowing where you was from one shot. You're done. Your chin, you know what I mean? People with chins, it just don't go down like that. It just don't. Look at Tyson Fury. People take the mic out of Tyson Fury, yeah? But people say, but YB, he had a 12-second count. Chris Eubank Jr. should show you, man, what I was talking about now. Chris Eubank Jr. shows how much a 12-second count really doesn't matter. Yeah? Because if you're knocked out, 10 seconds, ask Chris Eubank whether a 12-second count would have made a difference. No, it wouldn't have done. That's what I was always saying. All the people say, YB, but Wilder won because the count was long. If Tyson Fury was knocked out, it wouldn't have made a difference if it was 13 seconds. Even if it was 20-second count, it wouldn't have made a difference. As we saw, because Chris Eubank had about a minute, really. He had 1 count, then he had a bit in between, and another count, and he was still knocked at spark. You know what I'm saying? He was still out of it. So Eubank essentially had a 40-second period to recover, and he was still on cloud 9. Overall, it was about 90 seconds to 2 minutes before he was even half with it, off of a few shots from a B-level dude. That's what you call finished people. If you can't recover. I mean, Tyson Fury was recovering from a heavyweight Deontay Wilder, renowned puncher. AJ was recovering from Andy Ruiz, the fastest heavyweight punching dude in probably history, truth be known. You weren't recovering from B-level beefy. That's what you call finished. It's not an opinion, it's just what it is. It's not a lucky shot. Now, you could argue, well, YB, look at Lennox Lewis. He got caught with a lucky shot. And I mean, that's the best you got to work with. That's what you best be, but no, I don't know about all that. The heavyweight division is different, in my opinion. The heavyweight division is different. Now, you could argue, well, YB, look at Pacquiao versus Marquez. Again, in my opinion, that's just different. These guys are top-level guys, man. Top-level guys. Like, if this was Eubank versus Triple G, or Eubank versus Canelo, you know what I'm saying? That's how it goes sometimes. If you're getting knocked spark out by this kind of guy, it's over for you. And I hope Eubank Senior, he knows this as well. Yeah, Eubank Senior. That's why Eubank Senior is from old stock. He was 29 when he retired. He could have carried on soaking up all the coins. You know what I'm saying? He could have carried on soaking up all the coins. He realised his dignity, his pride was worth more. But these new age light-skinned Donnies, they don't know nothing about that. They're just trying to soak more coins. My doggy Homebell said, I think you're not focusing on the positive. Joe Lewis got sparked out by Max Mellon. Yeah, you're right. I've just seen you write this now. Lennox Lewis got sparked out twice. Eubank Jr. seems to be slack on his training. I don't think, no. Eubank was training. What he was doing was the issue in training. He clearly ain't been doing this. He ain't been doing the defense. My dog Immortal Men said, "Hi YB, I don't know if you read my comments, but where does Eubank Jr. go? Frankly, he needs to get rid of Roy Jones, and get with someone like Shane McGuigan or Dominic Ingle." I mean, Chris Eubambi Jr., it's beyond that stage now. It's beyond that now. Chris is now lost one of the key things that made, you know what I mean? One of the key things that made his whole shtick worthwhile. He's lost that now. It's gone. His whole shtick was, I can tangle, I can box, but you best believe you ain't putting me out. That was his thing. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a great boxer. He wasn't a great brawler. He was a great chin. Innit? Tell me the top. What's the top one thing that Eubank had? It was a chin. And it's gone. It's over for him. Now, I'm not saying he can't come back and beat low-level dudes and whatever else. Time for the YB to stop throwing his coin away betting on chumps. Yeah, for real. There's too many. I mean, I'm annoyed I had an Acker on. It was killing it. And then Eubank. Honestly, I was about to cash out. Eubank was the only one that let me down. Super annoying. I couldn't believe it when I saw I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. Especially after round 3. Round 3 was just wild. He was tearing that booty up. Round 3, yeah, is what I thought was. I was like, yeah. 100%. Yeah, you got Jimmy. Yeah, you got Jimmy Savile. No doubt about that. Touched him all over. Kieran said he can brawl and his chin. Yeah, he can't brawl. He could brawl. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You mean you? Sorry, you responded. I said, "What can Eubank do?" You said he can brawl and his chin. Yeah, that's my point. My point was, Eubank. His whole shtick was his chin. It was chin. And everything else after that. Everything worked around his chin being solid. And that's gone. So it's over for him. And I'm not being funny, but he was trying all of that. He was slipping and sliding. And he still got caught and was out of the edge. You know what I mean? Like, where do you go? Unless he comes in now with a tight guard, isn't it? I don't know what to say, people. He was already running. Let's get real here. It wasn't like he was in there exchanging with Liam and got caught. He was already backpedaling. Do you know what I'm saying? Chris Eubambi Jr. was already backpedaling. And still, he got... Oh, I don't know what to say, people. I don't know what to say. Hands down, head swaying when you're pinned in the corner. Awful defense, yeah. But I mean, yeah. I didn't see Eubank before the fight. In other fights, I've seen Eubank. Yes, he does like to have low hands, but I've seen him at times, elbows in, chin down. He knows how to do a high guard. I didn't see him use it once, and that's why I said the other day, I'm convinced Eubank, after the 3rd round, got too comfortable and he was trying to get a highlight reel defense, enter the matrix type clip. I think he was thinking, I'm going to go to the corner and I'm going to rock and roll and I'm going to make him look silly. That's what I thought he was. That's what I think he thinks he was doing. But that's why I told you about Floyd. Floyd, he treated everyone with respect. In fact, I can't think of one occasion that Floyd had his hand down. I can't think of one. I can't think of one occasion. When Floyd fights, he's always either split guard, shoulder roll defense, or he's in tight in his kind of peekaboo, hands up, elbows in. You never see Floyd just out here like this, swinging and swaying. These are the basics. don't think anyone could have predicted the way Eubank. Yeah, nor do I. No one saw that coming. No one saw it, and it's typical, man. How many coins did you lose? I don't even want to talk about it, man. It's painful. I don't want to talk about it. It was too many. Yeah, it's one of them ones. It's brutal, man. Brutal. Yeah, here we go. Look, worst rope-a-dope I've ever seen. Yeah, it wasn't a rope-a-dope. When Ali rope-a-dope, yeah, you don't see Ali looking at the floor. The whole point of the rope-a-dope is you're looking at what's coming. If you're not looking at what's coming, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, make sure you lick off the like button and smash the subscribe as well, 100%. There's no doubt about that. Would you box Ty and Boo for 30? If we can get on Misfits, we can run it for sure. I'd like if we can get a Misfits thing going, I'll do it for sure. But I wanna build into it. Anyway, I'm going to leave you, man, to it. One love. Big shout out to the people who came through at the end. My doggy Lord Mac. My doggy Simon Brandy. My doggy Shola. My doggy Fola Bond. Big love. My doggy Crazy Monkey. One love. I'm going to catch you, man, on the next one still. 100%. Smash the like button on the way out as well. Big shout out to my doggy Shola again, coming through, boosting the corner. No doubt about it.